Yeah, our mics are up, so we about to start this episode of.
I went to live in, you know what I mean?
All right, we up.
Welcome to Civic Duty. I'm your host, H-Rap Pharaoh, like pharaohs of old. To the right of me, of course, our online correspondent, Unc, how you doing?
I'm doing fine today, and today is our fourth episode, right?
Our fourth episode.
Yeah,
Fourth episode.
Today's
Yeah,
our fourth
we made
one,
it to
right?
fourth.
Yep.
Yeah, and of course, the other voice that you hear is our Living Dreams Entertainment architect, and that's Ob. What's up, Ob? How you doing?
What's going on, man? Doing good.
Feel good. It's a lot to get to. Just one more shout out. We have some special guests in the building with us today, and I just want to give everybody a shout out and say what's up. Hello to everyone. Hope you're having a good week. A lot of information to get to concerning May 29th. I believe there was a finance committee meeting. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, it was scheduled as a finance committee meeting, but actually, that's a lie. I don't know. A nice way of saying it. What happened was you'll hear on a little later from professionals, elected officials, how they changed it. There's a bill that's been trying to get passed for 3 years, but what we'll do is I'm not going to tell you as always. We'll let you see some film clips. They'll tell you, and then we'll discuss it.
You have something that a lady that
First, we're gonna start with the Bud Frill. So
Okay, so
who
is Bud Field?
who is Bud Frill? Okay.
All right, now this is Bud Field. He's the 8th District Council member. And I won't go through a whole bunch of stuff, but down the 4th paragraph, you see he holds memberships with the following boards. Wilmington Housing Partnership. You hear what I'm saying to you? The first thing on there, he had with the board of the Wilmington Housing Partnership. Okay, now I want to make that clear to everybody because we just had a situation where they went out of committee again. Butfield did something slick because we were supposed to discuss the WHP and the 3.4 million. It's supposed to be a public discussion, an open discussion was promised to us from Hanifa and Butfield and all the powers to be, including the mayor, and it never happened. And we all know what happened a couple of weeks ago. It got pushed through. But I want to show you what Butfield is because we go on. We'll hear what he has to say now about another housing issue that they've put into the finance committee. So let's go on with that.
Okay. You ready, Al?
yeah, so we're gonna start with that WITN22.org video of the committee.
Before us, we have substitute number 1 to ordinance 19-026, an ordinance to amend chapters 4, 5, and 34 of the city code to increase the rental dwelling unit business license fee, provide for civil fines for owners of rental properties and vacant properties, and increase vacant registration fees.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. We didn't receive this substituted ordinance until about 2 p.m. this afternoon, and as you can see, it's a complete book. I'm not sure how we can digest it in such a short period of time.
Okay. You should have also received, there was only a couple of changes, you should have received a summary sheet with that.
Well, considering past history, I'd like to check the whole doc.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyway, let's move forward. How I'd like to handle this is I'm going to make some opening remarks. I'm sorry, we've also been joined by Councilmember Tripicongo in the 2nd District. I'm going to make some open remarks. Then I'm going to open it up for questions and comments from council members. That will be followed by comments only from community members, and then we'll look at voting this out of committee. Okay? It is my belief that to really help our communities facing multiple challenges, we must look beyond police as the only public safety alternative. To help stabilize neighborhoods, we need to ensure a safe housing stock. My experience tells me that there are 2 types of properties that create the most concerns for a community. One is the vacant property, which is obvious. The second is the occupied property. And in most cases, they are rental houses. I'm not in any way implying that all rental properties are a problem, but there are some. When I started down this road about 3 years ago, my goal was to find a more efficient way to deal with problematic rental properties. I wanted to help stabilize the neighborhoods that have a high percentage of rental properties. It is our responsibility as a city to ensure safe housing, including rental housing, which many of us lived in before buying our first home. The current criminal system allows unresolved issues to drag on for up to a year. It is not fair to the homeowners that live on the same block. It may take months for a case to be scheduled, and extensions are a common occurrence. We have inspectors sitting in court for the better part of a day, and sometimes the case is continued over the city's objections. It just doesn't make sense that this process works. My first attempt to address the issue was to amend the housing code and transition from a criminal to a civil system with tier fines for all property owners. There were concerns raised that the change would have an unfair impact on homeowners. I had dozens and dozens of meetings. I spoke with community groups, council members, ministers, housing advocates, landlords, and anyone that wanted to discuss the legislation. After making a number of adjustments, including a sheriff's sale exemption for elderly, low-income homeowners, it seemed to create more confusion than addressing the issue. In the fall, we scrapped the original ordinance. A bill was introduced that provided for limited amendments to the existing code. The key changes were civil fines for owners of rental and vacant properties only, an increase in the business license fee for residential rental properties. In my 20-plus years, I am not aware of any increase in that fee. After 3 years, an increase in registration fees, an extension in the amount of time to appeal a violation notice, a refund of the appeal fee if the applicant was successful, a modification of the rental inspection process. Late last week, I was forwarded a flyer that I had never seen, and it contained some misleading information. But once again, I listened and tried to make the appropriate changes. First, it stated that tenants would be fined $250. What it did not state was the language holding tenants responsible for certain things have been in the code for 30 years or more. I did not add this language. But we have not fined tenants because with
Okay. There was a lot of information there, so I want to start with you. And how do you feel about?
Okay, well, let's get right to the meat of it.
Let's get to it.
Okay.
Now, what Butterfield is saying here, basically, you keep hearing the word "I" in this conversation. It wasn't we. It wasn't a committee. The word he keeps using is "I," what he is doing. First off, you have to realize this is out of committee. He's the chair of the Finance Committee. This is Housing and Development. This has not gone across in 3 years. The reason they're doing it now the way they're doing it is because their gentrification move is full-blown. Now, up to this point, everybody says gentrification, they think it's harming only the poor. But now the gentrificators are after people that might be helping the poor keep their homes in Wilmington. The people that they rent from the good renters.
Right.
Now, he speaks about bad renters and all this, and it's what he's saying. The city of Wilmington has blighted during this administration with the WHP, the one that he's a board member on. All those houses are left blighted. It's about 200 of those, and that's the city of Wilmington. He's not talking about finding the city or doing anything to the city. A lot of blocks, especially on the east side of Wilmington,
Right.
if you walk down Bennett Street,
Right.
that's all city owned just about now.
So you're saying when you're referring to blight for our listeners and watchers, when you say blight, and I heard you say something about the city of Wilmington, it sounds like what you're saying is that the city of Wilmington owns a lot of the things that they plan on fining us for, or well, not us per se, but basically the city of Wilmington owns a lot of properties.
The city of Wilmington owns a lot of properties that are not being rented,
Abandoned.
abandoned, left in disarray,
Okay.
vacant lots where they have plowed property down, put
Okay.
homes under,
Okay.
but yet they want to go after people. And as far as that flyer is concerned,
Yeah, but let's talk about that flyer a little bit, because what?
I got the meaning for the blight pulled up, man.
Okay.
All right.
Most of it's about plants, but then
can't
it goes
grow and
to
so forth and so on. So read it.
something that frustrates plans or hopes. The blight of poverty. An abandoned factory that was a blight on a neighborhood. Something that destroys or impairs or destroys.
All right. Now,
So and there's I think there's a blight
In
bill.
deteriorating condition.
There's like a blight bill. That's
what it is.
Yeah,
It's
the
the blight bill.
The blight bill. Wow.
but
Okay.
this is finance and development. Now, what they're saying is for paint. Well, I don't have to tell you.
Okay.
We have other people on here that will tell you.
Okay.
And then we'll really get into it. But we have to realize the whole time this is going on,
Right.
it's not about anything other than changing the demographics, the city of Wilmington,
Okay.
to get the people of less financial means out of the city,
Okay.
so that those running the city now can have Wilmington as their little playground.
And the white owners that own a lot of properties.
And the
to
city.
get them out so
Well, they're helping.
their buddies can come in.
See-
They want to knock them out too.
Oh, 100% right.
Yeah.
Because see, their friends are the big guys. See, a guy that owns 20 houses or 30 houses, they're
Yep.
independents.
They
Yeah.
want to get rid of them.
They want to get rid of all those guys.
Yeah.
They want to get rid of all of them because
Yeah.
if you're not a developer,
Right.
see, we have to realize our mayor is a developer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He wants to tear stuff down and build anew. You know what I mean?
They want to make it fancy like the outlet shops at the riverfront.
Yeah, making
Yeah.
everything fancy and cool.
The outlet shops is popping.
Yeah.
I don't even go to Rehoboth no more.
Well, the outlet shops at the waterfront, and what did it last? 6 months when they had the shops there? People went under.
Remember how much them houses was? Oh man, we should find that video where they was auctioning them off.
Well, you know what?
Remember how much they were?
I was working on those houses, actually, on the riverfront. Before I retired, I was working on those houses. They went for like $300,000 a year.
Yeah.
And now they're rotting.
You know, when I was listening to his testimony, he kept speaking about a flyer or something that went out that he said he had to correct. Because he said there were some incorrect things on there. Can we see the flyer?
Yeah, that flyer was basically in the beginning. He just wanted to disprove the flyer.
The flyer. We're gonna let
Okay.
everybody see this flyer.
He just wanted to disprove the flyer.
Okay.
The "We shall not be moved" flyer.
Okay.
Because he talked about the fines, the code enforcement. It was all hogwash.
But you saw it said residents come out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this at Thursday night on
Yeah.
the 29th,
Right.
there were maybe the most I've ever seen in a city council meeting.
Yes.
Now, this Thursday coming, we need all these same people back again.
Okay.
We need everybody that was there to come back again and bring somebody with you.
And more people.
Because people need to see this. That's why we're on air. We're on the air to show people what they don't see.
Okay.
You know, and that's what Civic Duty does. We're making sure the whole public gets a chance.
Right.
And
Yeah.
they had the landlords, the landowners, homeowners.
Yeah, it was a lot of
Tenants was out, and nobody was in support of this.
Yes.
And
said
they were saying
nobody?
scrap. Nobody. It was like two people, but one
Two
was
people.
from like one of the nonprofit poverty pimps.
Well, yeah, one of those guys.
That's a hard thing. Nonprofit poverty pimps.
That's a good way of putting it. I
Yeah.
like that. Non-profit poverty pimps.
Yeah.
That's guys that steal the money, they get it from the government and do what they want, right?
Yeah, the type of people that hold the seminars for people on welfare to gain income.
Right.
But then they'll have it at UD. Those type people.
I hear you. Well, yeah, one of them spoke up, and out of maybe 40 or 50 people, but let them speak for a minute.
Okay.
All right, let's start with Trippy.
All right, we'll let Trippy go.
Councilwoman McCoy, that this should not be in finance. I think there's a game being played because in our committee we wouldn't vote it out. So I think it's just an attempt to get this before full council, and I think it's pretty unfair the way that we're going about it as a council, because it should be in another committee. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments from council members at this time? Questions?
We got Vash coming on.
We got Vash coming up.
Oh, we got to skip past these. Oh, there you
Are you
go.
going to let us speak after they speak?
No, that's going to be the end.
You're not going to let us speak after the public speaks?
No, just let the public speak, and then that'll be the end.
Well, I want to speak before the public.
Go ahead.
I mean, usually you come back to council after the public speaks. I think Councilwoman Harley spoke about she wanted to hear the public speak before she can determine what she wants to do on this legislation. But as you controlling this committee, you want to allow us to speak after the public speaks, which is wrong. So I'm going to go ahead and speak on what you missed out on the history of this legislation. You was going to read another page up there, but you stopped. And I think that you were speaking about the first time that you attempted this legislation, which was in community development, urban planning, twice. It failed twice in that committee. When I met with you, you told me you were tired. You wanted to push it through. That's why it's in the finance committee. I wish our president of council was here to defend why she allowed you to do that when it was already in another committee twice. So I'm going to put that on the record so everyone knows that we were supposed to be in community development. We were in it twice. That committee didn't allow it to come out. Now it's in the finance committee, which we only have 3 voting members here out of 7. So it needs all 3 voting members to push this out. That would be Councilman Friel, Councilman Williams, and Councilman Adams. That's all I have for now.
Okay, thank you. Other council members with questions or comments?
Did you hear that?
Okay. So there was a lot there. He actually kind of answered the question for me, because I remember looking at the Friel's testimony, and I was asking myself, about the $250 fines and Sarah's things. I was like, okay. And he's like, okay, well, this stuff never passed. We never did any of this. And Unc, you were saying that it's because this legislation never passed. This was legislation that was trying to be passed in a whole nother committee. And it's, what was it, community development?
Well, it is community development. Bud Friel, along with Hanifa Shabazz, they have control of the city council with the help of Linda Gray and Oliver, Michelle Harley, and these other women.
Is Williams a professional seat filler?
Well, what Williams
wasn't when somebody else won? Didn't they put him in the temporary spot in the 3rd district before?
No,
when somebody moved up.
No,
that was his history.
That was Darius. He's an ex-police officer. He's an ex-nurse, and often he does go with the with our side. I'll call it our side, the general public.
Yeah,
often
okay.
He goes that way.
Okay.
This night here, his testimony or his statement is very weird, because he really doesn't say anything, but he says enough for Bud Friel. See, what we have to watch here. And this is what Vash is leading up to, and this is what Trippy is saying.
Okay.
In the Robert's Rules of Order or anything,
okay,
when you have a parliamentary procedure, certain rules supposed to hold true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, there's only 3 people for this committee of 7.
Yeah.
For a quorum, it should be 4. 4 should have to vote for it.
Yeah.
For 4 out of 7, but only 3 is there. There should not be a vote taken.
Okay.
But we'll watch and we'll see. Already Bud Friel has set the stage to where I'm running this meeting. We're going to do it this way. We're going to break procedure,
right,
because I want this passed. And now, in collusion with him,
right,
as you heard Councilman Vash Turner say, the president, Oliver, and Gray aren't even there.
Yeah, they weren't there.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was surprising.
And this is their committee.
Civic Duty was there.
That's right. Civic Duty was there. And tell you what, Civic Duty has some footage to show you afterwards.
Ooh.
Because we were there. We were on the spot.
Ooh.
And we're going to try to stay on the spot. See, we would like to go somewhere else besides City Council.
Yeah.
But there's so much wrong.
Okay.
There's so many rules being stretched. And people, it's just not right in the City Council.
Yeah.
Well, and then what Vash was saying about them not being allowed to speak harkens back to the censorship
That's right.
that
Yeah.
Penrose Hollins was talking about.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's all censorship.
Yeah.
And not just that, the censorship of the community.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to hear people from the community talk. If 48 people say they don't like it,
Yeah.
why would anybody vote for it?
The seat filler.
Now, it happens. It's been happening. I've been watching real close for the last 2 years. In the last 2 years, maybe 6 times, at least, everybody that gives testimony testifies one way. If it's about zoning change or whatever,
Right.
and then the city council votes with the administration to change the lives of everybody that doesn't want something changed. And we have to understand this gentrification program. There's no other way of putting it.
Yeah.
Now it is affecting even people that thought they were above the gentrification process.
Yeah, they're going after.
And some of these people, like, they don't want to pass the fees on to their tenants.
Yeah.
Because they had the same tenants for 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
And yeah, Gary Hutt, you're right. It is about selling undervalued properties and raising the price so they can make a profit.
So they can make a profit.
They're doing what they do, and it's horrible. It's even to this point where, with this legislation here, they can go and they can take your home. They can really take your home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to speak about it.
Yeah.
Everybody that speaks the same way, except for the administration. Yeah. And then the end of this, you'll see how he just like a bully.
Yeah.
For lack of a better term.
Just ramrod.
He just takes it and snatches it and says, we're going to do it this way, whether it's right or wrong, and there's no rebuttal. On and on again, we've asked for state help.
Right.
You know, we've asked for the ethics committee, those 8 guys and women that are invisible, that do nothing. But the mayor owns them all. The city solicitor is here, and you know some procedures there that were not right. Well, where was Bob Groff tonight?
Yeah.
He's usually there, sitting right next to Anifa, giving her advice.
Yeah.
He's not being a parliamentarian. He gives advice to the city to stop the public, the general public, the taxpayers, the people that vote. Yeah. Buccini and them, they do not even live in the city. They don't even have a vote.
Yeah.
Well, they buy their votes since they don't live in the city.
Yeah. Yes, they do.
It's interesting though that a lot of the representatives weren't there. This sounds pretty important.
Yeah.
And if you have any questions, I guess to pose to your city representative, contact your city representative and comment
comment. Comment on the post right now.
Ask some questions because this is
we gonna read your comments.
Yeah, this is serious right here. This is very serious. You said we have some
we
some
got
film,
some people.
right?
Let's
check
out some of the.
We don't want to be here all day.
Yeah, let's check out some of the community.
Yeah,
and hear what the community's concerns are.
Community testimony.
This is nothing.
Good evening, Councilman. Thank you for having the opportunity to speak tonight. I work at the Delaware Center for Justice. I'm the policy director there. I also live in Wilmington. My primary concerns about this ordinance were related to the interplay between sections 34-37 subsection E and 34-41. When I arrived here today and read the bill that was provided, it looks like subsection E has been modified, deleted in its entirety, and then replaced with subsection D. Based on that understanding and those changes, it looks like the $250 fine will not be immediately implemented against people, particularly those folks who may or may not be complying with immediate requests for entry. That was one of our primary concerns at DCJ. I would, however, add, because I have time and the mic, that we have an ongoing concern for what we see as the criminalization of poverty, that people who are unable to pay for paint, people who are unable to pay for structural repairs, people who might be unable to pay for general upkeep are going to be subject to heavy fines, and that there's a better way to do this. I don't disagree that when houses become unsafe, when things happen in neighborhoods that make it hard to live next door to folks, that degrades the quality of life for everybody, and it's a big problem. But because it's a big problem, we have to have a much bigger solution. And if the challenge, if the challenge is that folks need help, that it's not just an issue of not caring about what their house looks like or not wanting to be a good neighbor, it's an issue that people need help. And there's other examples of other places that are able to incentivize community redevelopment in a collaborative way. And so if you look at like what the New Kensington Community Development Center did in Philadelphia, they offered matched programs. They offered community organized events to help fix up each other's homes, that the city can provide some of this money from the business taxes, put it into a fund to provide people with the assistance that they need. Folks, I say that because when we want to build community and incentivize our neighborhoods to look the way we want them to look, we should be good neighbors. We don't have to punish one another. We can do it a different way, and other places do it a different way, and it works.
Amen. She ain't realized she said something when they started clapping. It shocked her.
She was like,
she was getting something said.
Yeah, she touched people's hearts and minds in there. Like, oh my goodness, like that was. What do you think about that? Oh, that was pretty.
Well, a major statement was the criminalization of poverty.
Ooh.
You know, this is the same administration that has banished people for being poor and hungry. This is the same administration that's run everybody out of Rodney Square because they didn't like the way they look.
I knew that was coming.
I had to say it because I ride by that Delco joint every day where they serve the food, and all the people riding the buses going in there buying food in the Delco food court.
Did you stop in there and get
I
something?
will never go in there ever. It's owned by Buccini, Poland. They're making money off the poor that they don't want in Rodney Square.
Yeah.
I watch when they go from the bus stop to in and out all day long.
Yeah, but how many food courts are in there?
This lately said, at what point do you stop trying to take advantage of poor people? That's real.
This is the problem.
You never stop taking
stop.
advantage.
No.
How much is car insurance in the city compared to car insurance out in the counties?
Yeah.
They don't.
And they say it's because of car theft. Like more people die in car accidents out 202, Hockessin. You know, you take advantage of poor people. Like even gas prices in the city. Those little. They had gas, man.
You gonna make me say something I don't want to say?
They gas gouging. Gas gouging is a thing. Like cities have laws against gas gouging in the city.
Yeah. I buy my gas out of the city because in the city they're 10 to 20 cents higher.
I buy my gas at Wawa.
And if you go close to the projects over on Northeast Boulevard, it might be 30 cents higher.
And then the thing is, over there, a lot of those little one-off gas stations, they be buying stolen gas.
Hey, I never.
They be buying illegal gas, so they making a killing, and people so used to just give me 5. You ain't even get a gallon, really.
That's right.
You got like a gallon and a half.
So illegal. So cats is just filling up gas tanks and going and getting busy?
Gas stations buy illegal gas, man. There's some gas stations that buy illegal gas.
Okay.
We learn every day.
It's our civic duty to let you know. Stop going getting gas on Governor Prince getting $5 when you could get maybe a gallon and a half at a legit gas station.
This sounded kind of personal, man. Somebody wants to hit your gas tank.
I think somebody steal my gas every night. I ain't gonna lie. I be like, yo, what?
Oh, man.
All right.
Okay.
Now listen, we gotta get back on point.
Yeah, we got more public comments.
We have some public comments to get to.
Because these landlords they telling the truth, man.
Yeah, this is good.
And they dropping the information that your boy Frill's not saying. Why would he tell people the real?
Yeah.
Well, we have to. Bud Friel is part of the problem.
The setup.
You know what I mean? Bud Friel is ooh.
Let's talk about that name.
Oh man, you know what?
What they've done in the city of Wilmington.
And
it goes back The gentrification program did not just start.
We say that word gentrify a lot on here, don't we?
Yeah, it's a code word for white supremacy.
And it's real.
And I have to say that. And here's what I need to say.
Ooh.
Here's what I'm holding back. Here's what I'm going through the whole time. We've been having this thing this week for Juneteenth.
Yeah.
And they've had several Juneteenth ceremonies. And in all these Juneteenth ceremonies, they have a white supremacist giving speeches. They had the mayor and the governor. Now, if gentrification is a code word for white supremacy, then what you have now is you have a governor who's definitely a gentrifier. You have a mayor who's a gentrifier. And between the two of them, they won't say what the 150 things are. We cannot let these issues go. Those 150 pages of redacted material about gentrification, that between the governor, the mayor, and Buccini and them, this has to be an election issue, and we cannot let these things go. And we have to constantly remember, we elected them. They did not elect us. Now, we elected a bunch of crooks. We made a mistake. Let's get rid of these cats, man.
What's that comment you like to say? You can't fool us twice, or
Yeah, don't you? Yeah, fool me once.
Yeah.
Don't give me broccoli and tell me it's green.
There you go. There you
Don't
go.
piss on me and tell me it's rain.
So
You
I know
what
the
I'm saying?
difference.
And then the thing is, like we talked about chess on the square on our last episode,
Yes, we
right?
did.
Yeah, a little
So
bit. Yep.
I don't know if y'all knew, but chess on the square was at the barbershop parking lot.
They didn't allow it.
They said that on the 25th, Rodney Square would be under construction.
Okay.
So they moved it. Now, we already in the next month.
Okay, in June.
Has Rodney Square been under any construction since the 25th,
I
yo?
don't think
No.
so. No.
No.
Oh.
They're habitual liars.
Like, you know, they still had the farmer's market there. They still had that
They're
a
habitual
line
liars.
dance thing or something. All right, let's get back on
Yeah,
point,
let's go
man.
back.
Let's get back. Let's go to the landlords.
All right, let's see what they have to say. All of
Yeah.
them.
Look and listen to a couple of comments that were made earlier by council members. They're already seeing $800,000 being generated. That is based on a 23% compliance rate against the 35,000 rentals throughout the city. And guess who's already complying? The very people who are already complying are going to have their fees jump from $10 to $100. And you're still going back to the same well. The intent of this bill originally, the genesis was to get compliance from those who are not complying right now. And it made evident today, to me, by two comments that no, we're just going to keep on going at it the same and keep on digging into the same pockets that we're already digging. And unfortunately, guess who gets to pay? The very tenants. We're going to have to raise our rates. It's just how natural economics work. Back on the original bill, if we go back into the history, this bill was, the intent was to fight crime and blight. On the housing side, the blight. And I've heard over and over that license and inspection, the inspectors are trained on identifying blight. That's a buzzword that hasn't been used here tonight, but it's still really what this is about, the vacants and the blighted properties. If it's a matter that if we assume that the inspectors are trained on identifying blight, let's limit this bill back to the blight. And I think we used the term a year ago, Mr. Adams, was we're going to bifurcate this bill, and I hate using that word, but I was told, nope, we can't change this bill. We can't separate out homeowners, vacants, or landlords. It's not going to happen, can't do it. Well, tonight we've already been proven that we can separate out the homeowners. Let's try to narrow the focus to really where the problem is. Okay. So, in continuing on that, if a program were to be adopted in some manner, why go citywide? Why roll it out? Why not take a test program? Do this for, if it has to actually be adopted, see if it works. Take one district, pick a district, whoever's really in favor of it. Let's, roll it out into just that district, okay? No, I'm serious about that. Whoever is most in favor of it, put it in their district and see where it's at. Compare benchmarks against today being a baseline. Find out what the metrics are today of where blight is, if we can actually determine how much of the city in an area is blighted and how it improves over time. And if it works, then roll it, scale it up to a larger program. As far as, minor points or detailed points, I don't want to say minor, we have a number of other
30
landlords who are going
seconds,
to
please.
speak for themselves, and I hope that they hit on all these other points as they are extremely important. Thank you.
Wow.
He said it, man.
Phew,
Why don't they do it in Bud Frill's district? Is he trying to do it in his district, or he just talking about in the city?
In the city.
In the city.
Oh, boy.
Why he don't want to do it in his district?
Oh,
His district's in the
man.
city. It's in the 8th ward of the city.
How much blight over
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
Zero?
Zero, right?
What I tell you, I'm not a trained, licensed Illinois guy, so
Yeah.
I don't know what blight really is. See, I know my neighbor
Okay.
has a problem. He had paint chipping.
Right.
Nice home.
Right.
He's been there 40 years. And he has to pay fines and has to get it fixed. Now, according to the way I hear the legislation,
Right.
they can use this eventually. The fines can even go up exponentially.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yet it's a criminal act if it's against a homeowner.
Yeah. Criminal act.
A
against
criminal
homeowner.
act
Yeah.
against a homeowner.
Just
These are
fines.
criminals
Yeah.
fines, right?
Yeah. Fines. Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't sound right. I know it's not right. But Phil knows it's not right. Everyone knows it's not right. But here's the issue.
Yeah.
It's going to pass, y'all.
We got to get out there, man.
Yeah.
It's going to pass on Thursday.
This
That's
Thursday,
Hanifa
we got to
and
be
them-
there.
And them 6 girls are going to vote for it. And that's a fact. You may
Yeah.
not like it.
Yeah.
Just like she signed the LAPA bill ahead of time, they can sign this one ahead of time.
Yeah.
Because if it goes to the full city council, Hanifa and her girls will vote for it. Now, they couldn't get out of committee. And you have to watch this film. He's going to take it out of committee.
Right.
He's going to rough it off. And he's going to look at a city councilman and tell him, you should like it because it's going to the full city council. No
But
one
what-
should
what
like
if,
it.
If one of them vote wrong by mistake, like last time, will they hold another secret meeting,
it'll be
another
a-
special,
We'll have to call her.
a special session?
Yeah.
Well, that last session lasted a total of 3 minutes and 27 seconds because I looked at the timer.
Okay.
And that was from the time they said the prayer to the time they got out of there. It was a minute and I think 1.12 minutes when they did the session where Ampie Oliver said she got something back that she didn't realize she wasn't getting from the first time. And she has rat and mice control back on the budget.
Okay.
Rat and mice control back put in place, and the other girl, she changed her vote too. Dixon changed her vote the same time Oliver did. And I don't know what she got back in 24 hours, but I do know this here: the shooting.
But she voted present.
Yeah. She voted present.
Yeah, but when Ampie Oliver had to re-vote for the special meeting for Ampie Oliver, she changed her vote at that meeting.
Oh, so she was present at the meeting the next day because if I'm not mistaken,
That Monday meeting.
that vote was for the budget. So I think the city workers and stuff could get paid, right?
Well, just like they couldn't, just like Hanifa and them can't be at this meeting, they all were there and out within 3 minutes and 27 seconds on that meeting.
So the community wasn't.
No, the community had a chance to say nothing, do nothing, see nothing, or nothing.
Wow.
Because I'm in the community and I came there early and it was already over. We were walking in with Councilman Turner was coming in the same time they were leaving.
So they ain't even. They was like, "Yo, let's just hurry this up."
So you had a councilman that was coming in and didn't even.
We were coming in about 2 minutes after 5 and the meeting was over.
It was like grand opening, grand closing.
That's right.
We did our dirt in the dark, and now we rolling out.
And we out of here. We out of here.
Yeah, I like that.
How they not start on CP time?
I like that landlord's testimony, man. That was pretty good.
Oh, I got another cat queued up who
Yeah.
talk about since the license inspection will be what is it? What's the term for like judge and jury?
Yeah, they're going to have
executioner?
full power.
Oh.
Ellen will have full power over you and your home.
And this guy, he talks about his dealings with L&I, and yeah, we can't. This is some. That's why it's called Blight Bill and BS. Let's check this out.
Right,
Thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Jeff Sheridan. I'm a city resident of Brandywine Hills, and I've been investing in real estate in the city for 10 years. As a member of the public, I don't have time to speak on the numerous changes this ordinance proposes that, in my opinion, should be dealt with as separate matters. That being said, I'm going to focus on 3 points of this ordinance that I find especially troubling. It is being proposed that rental registration rates for owners of more than 3 properties be increased from $10 to $100 per unit. That's an increase of 900%. This increase is going to be felt mostly by smaller landlords who frequently invest in our struggling neighborhoods. It absolutely boggles my mind that any city would even consider creating a higher barrier of entry for investors wanting to invest, especially in a city like ours that needs this type of investment. Instead of increasing licensing fees within our city, we should be striving to simplify the licensing process to encourage future investment, compliance, and affordability. I know my residents, and I'm sure other residents, are certainly not looking forward to rent increases that will result from the licensing increases, along with the increased cost of water. The proposal also mandates pre-rental inspections for all rental properties. Here's the major problem. The only properties that will be inspected are the properties that are getting registered. The bad landlords that you want to chase, the bad landlords do not register their properties now and will certainly not start registering after the fee is increased by 900%. Here's another major concern. The proposed inspections are going to be done by L&I, which may sound innocent enough, but let me share my most recent experience with you. I recently got over 50 letters from L&I demanding my rentals be made available for inspections. I emailed L&I to coordinate those inspections. It took 7 days just to get an email back. That email said that I was going to get calls from individual inspectors to schedule. It's been over 20 days since that email was sent, and I still have yet to receive a single call. Instead of getting those calls, I got several final warning letters from L&I saying that I was not in compliance and was facing a criminal summons. This type of experience with L&I is not unique, and to be honest, it's what I and other landlords have come to expect. L&I must drastically improve before we can further burden landlords with their inefficiencies. Yes. The proposed ordinance places no standard whatsoever on L&I to perform inspections in a timely manner. It also provides no exceptions for properties already inspected by Section 8. The most alarming part of this proposal in the ordinance is that landlords are going to be switched to a unique civil system while homeowners remain in a criminal system. I could speak for hours about why L&I, of all organizations, should not be given unchecked power, but my time is limited. This proposal is nothing short of discrimination. We are treating properties differently based on who owns them. The whole purpose of our property maintenance code is to hold owners accountable to a uniform standard, not just select people. For a moment, imagine you are headed home this evening and you're stopped by a police officer for speeding. When the officer comes to your door, he asks you, do you own this car or lease it? You might wonder why he would ask this for a speeding violation. The officer goes on to explain that this is the new Wilmington. Owners get treated differently than those who lease. Any person with common sense can see that this is fundamentally unfair. Whether the crime is speeding or not taking care of your property, the issue at hand should not be the type of ownership. Our only concern should be stopping the illegal action through a consistent system of justice. Thank you for your time, and I encourage the 3 members that showed up to vote absolutely no.
Okay.
You see why I wanted to play Homeboy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You get right on it.
The civil and the criminal.
The civil
That's
and criminal.
If you're a homeowner, it's criminal.
The homeowner is.
And I'd be truthful, I take that personally because I'm an old guy and I own a home.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I need a few repairs.
You a criminal.
I'm a criminal because I can't afford a repair. So what they've done, they've criminalized being poor. They've criminalized me because I've been in my home for all those years. I got a pension and a Social Security check, but the cost of living, they don't move with that.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
There's a report. It's a HUD report.
Okay.
And it states in the HUD report that in the city of Wilmington, I think the projection for the income to be for a city resident is something like $80-some thousand a year. Now, yes, I'll the next meeting I'll bring the report with me.
Okay.
The next podcast, and I'll show it to you. And it's signed by our president and Sleepy, the guy from HUD, you know, the brain surgeon.
Carson.
Oh, Ben Carson.
Yeah, Ben Carson.
Ben
Sleepy.
Carson.
Yeah.
And him and the Trumper.
Dope.
So it's a current thing. They're speaking of the average income in the city of Wilmington will have to be like $22 an hour.
just to be able to afford to
in
live
the city of
in
Wilmington.
In the city of Wilmington.
Oh,
It's
wow.
not $22 an hour jobs for
Well, this is what I'm saying now.
homeowners.
This is their projection. I'll show you the figures.
Okay.
So all that they know, Wilmington is going to be gentrified,
Yeah.
but there's no jobs for us in $22 an hour. So you're gonna have to move.
Yeah.
Now all this money's been spent, and I have to keep saying being spent at the budget for beautification of Rodney Square and the purification of this, that, and the other. But we have a community of young men that drastically need help.
Yeah.
You know, I see a lot of programs for young girls can dance and you can sing. But what about these young men running these streets? And they need help. They need viable programs that are tailor made for young men.
Yeah.
And there are none.
But is the programs for them prison?
Well,
Yeah.
the school to prison pipeline is a fact across the country, and you have a city like Wilmington that's a fact. All the rates of literacy and all that are a fact in getting people into prison. But also what has to take into account is the job market. What type of jobs? We need an infrastructure rebuilt.
Right.
You know, things like this. We know they're going to be jobs. You know what I mean? But we have to start training these young men. No, they're not going to the schools. The high schools and the programs, they're not working for us.
Yeah. Next generation.
And that's a reality.
Next generation of people that they're going to lock up, man.
You know, we have Juneteenth, like I started to say earlier, and we're not free. If we were free, we would not need civil rights legislation. If you were a free people, you would not need all these things that are happening and happen. You wouldn't be shot down the street indiscriminately.
That is just
and nobody goes to jail.
Such a deep.
But when it starts
conversation,
changing, that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And because this is like gentrification is the new thing, but you've been around Wilmington for a while, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about back when the white flight started happening?
You know, back in the 60s, before the this civil disobedience happened, a lot of the shops were owned by Polish, and we had a good mixture in the city of Wilmington, white and black, all through the city. Now, in the 60s and the late 50s, whites started moving to the suburbs. But what has happened since then, we have black families that own their homes in all these communities. And a lot of black families moved to the suburbs during the same period of time. And then we had several mayors come in, and they're going to restructure the city. Jim Seals was going to restructure the city, and Jim Baker going to restructure the city. And all of them came with these ideas to restructure Wilmington without the input of the minority communities. And it's a shameful to say, because we've had all these mayors of color, and nothing has been done for our youth.
Wow.
From them.
Oh man.
You know, and it frustrates me to see now we're in a position that we see this, and you know this, and still we have a bunch of black elected officials who help everybody but their own community.
And that's why, and that's how they like to pull it.
The administration can
make the
sit
face
back.
of gentrification black.
Oh, we're not doing it.
Williams is the one that did it.
City council.
He could have just shot it out of. He could have shot it down in committee. It would have never made it to the floor.
That's right. But now when it goes to the floor, you have to watch. You really do. We have to pay attention to how these women vote. And I keep saying women. I like women. I've been married 3 times.
Here we go.
But these women they're not voting for the people who put them in office.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You know, Buccini and them be having they're financing Hanifa. They gave Ampey had a finance dinner with all the bigwigs there, and
the Wilmington elite.
The Wilmington elite, as they call themselves.
Yeah, that was crazy. Man.
Clearly, these landlords ain't in the Wilmington elite either.
No, because
and these are regular people. All
they're
these
not
are
developers. You have to understand, they're not developers.
So they're not elite,
and they own land.
You know what? What else is important? Like kind of to remember too. It's just standing out to me. The fact that the city of Wilmington has control over a lot of the vacant and
that's right.
same things that they're talking about
Yes,
making people
yes.
pay.
They moving on to the people.
Yes.
So they're you're what
They ignoring their ignoring
Their
their
responsibility.
Yeah.
I
Their
think,
responsibility.
didn't Frill say it? I think he said, well, I think someone testified that, yes, well, you know, we have to admit that.
Phil said, yeah, we have to do our part.
We have to
That
do
was
our
the 2
part.
minute drill on Channel 22.
Yeah. When
The 2 minute drill.
that was after.
okay.
That was
Okay.
after the
We
vote.
we gonna
He's
clean it up.
justifying what he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the short condensed version.
Well, what-
he didn't say, everybody's against this, but
Right.
he's like, yeah, it has imperfections, but we'll fix them down the line. No.
That's the same thing they
We
said when
always
they-
end up with that.
and that's the same thing they said when they pushed that 3.4 million into
Back.
the city budget and passed
we'll
that.
straighten
Oh
it out
well,
later.
there's a lot of inconsistencies and
Well, we're
shout
going
out
to
to
talk about it.
yeah, shout out to Vash for again pointing out something about we could have just shot all that down, but
That's right. Vass said, scrap it.
scrap it and start over
They
because
couldn't do that.
yeah.
But watch and see what he does now. Watch how they bend the rules, twist the rules when Bud Friel and Hanifa want something done. You know what I mean? And now the gist of it all is he's helping. They're helping to gentrify that 3.4 million. City residents will be paying for 20 years.
It's gonna look goofy, man.
An additional $7 million. I think it's an interest will go to a banker.
I said I was going to say this. I'm curious to see if Sam Guy's quote unquote conspiracy theory is actually accurate with his understanding of what they'll do to probably increase the quote unquote surplus that the city has and use this as a voting thing next year. I'm kind of curious.
Sam
to see.
put a video up
I wanna see
warning
this.
that we will be at this point last year.
Yeah.
He said it in council chambers.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
He mentioned all of this last
That's
year
right.
Yeah.
He did.
in
did.
council, so it's on record.
He did.
Yeah.
The video's on 22.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like he said it was a watchman's morning.
Yeah,
That's right.
and again for our listeners and followers, look, the important thing is we got different kind of perspectives. We have this is a good melting pot of what we have. We have on the floor. We have many different things here, but again, I've always followed more of a federal perspective, like more as far as politics and stuff, because it just came to a point in your life where you had to. But I'll be honest, again, I looked at my city representative. I said, hey, it's a district. I'm kind of familiar with this name. For many years I voted, and I know that I voted against my interests. So as me sitting here talking to all of you, I want you to understand that this is from a perspective that I did not understand this either, and I am
It's called the first step.
and I'm learning and so
You
much
just took
more.
the first
I
step.
took a first step in a lot of things in my understanding. So it's I might wear glasses, but they might be tinted, a little sexy tint on them or something, but I ain't that damn blind to see a lot of inconsistencies with our representatives.
And then another thing with this Blight bill is, he never mentioned that the fines keep going.
They don't
Fines
stop.
don't stop.
No, it might be monthly, some are weekly.
My man said he was trying to set up with them to fix it, and he getting a final notice talking about you about to be sued, and he never came out.
Yeah.
So, and they're going to be
Yeah.
the judge, jury, and executioner.
Well, Alvin, we all know there was 50 people speaking. We only showing a few.
Yeah.
But 50 people, 48 of them, Vass Turner spoke the same way the other 48 spoke against this legislation. Yeah. And he's going to ram it down their throats. Can we get to the next clip?
Do we have some more,
to the next clip.
have more testimony?
Yeah, because
we got some more testimony.
it's some more. It goes deep.
I think this is the guy with the
Don't
money.
get old. You have to wear glasses. Anyway, let me start with what are we trying to accomplish in this city? I moved here in 1986, a long time ago. Orange and Winchester, bought the place, always wanted to have my own house, fixed it up, and have been in the city ever since. My partner and I have properties, I guess, in every single one of the districts. We put our money where our mouth is. We work weekends. We work nights. I'm going to tell you right now, don't vote this out of committee. This is punitive, and punitive actions like this don't work. They just don't, okay? I've been homeless, slept on someone's couch when I was 16. I know what it's like to be broke. These fines are going to get passed on to tenants. They just are, okay? Think soda tax in Philadelphia. What did that do to people? So, I could be here for an hour, but let's start with this. Let's pick one example. 113 Lancaster Avenue. And I'll send a picture of this to each of the council members, okay? This place burned down in 2016, 3 years ago. 3 years. It's been sitting vacant this whole time. You think this person cares about a couple fines? Right? No. I've been asking L&I to get this place torn down for 3 years. There are rats in it. There's graffiti. This board we put up because now the soffit's going to fall on somebody's head. And here's the worst part. You want to increase home ownership in this city, you have to make the front look nice, right? That's what they talk about, curb appeal. This is curb appeal? Guess where this is? Lancaster Avenue. Anybody who lives west of this city comes down this street, and this is what they get to see because the stoplight's right here, and it backs you up and you stare right at a burned-out building. What message does that send to anybody who would even think about buying a house in this city? Ridiculous. And you know what? And I'm not really even blaming L&I, right? They do the best they can with what they got. But you know what? I did my math. I have an aeronautical engineering degree, so I can do math. All right? 3,000% increase in my license fees. 3,000%. Yes, I checked the math a couple times. That's insane. And you don't think that's not going to get passed on? All right, data. He talked about rental properties being the problem. I have seen no data to support that whatsoever. That's just thrown out there like it's truth. It's not truth. Truth is any non-kept property is bad. Vacant properties are bad. City of Wilmington owned vacant properties and burned out properties. Bad.
Sir, 30 seconds, please.
Don't vote this thing out of committee. This is insane. I did it last time I talked. I'll volunteer my time to anybody to help you guys get this city back on its feet. Believe me, it's doable. But this is not the way to do it.
That's the true champ right there.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah, there it is.
He
Yeah.
the real champ. And what's the money going to be used for?
Yeah. Who's the money going to?
Who knows?
You know, something you said earlier, and you know about fixing things or whatever, and I just realized something. It's real simple. When you give a group of people resources and you don't give another group of people resources,
That's right.
what the hell do you expect to happen?
That's right. That's right. It's no balance.
There's
no balance.
My man said this makes no sense.
Yeah, and you know what's good? You know what's good about this? This is again civic duty. This isn't class or color or race. This is like we're showing like this is a battle between people that got it and people that don't got it. This has nothing to do with anything. That's excellent testimony, and how he pointed out again that a lot of these crappy places the city of Wilmington owns by the city.
And that's how you do it. You let it fall apart.
Let it sit.
Leave jobs undone.
Turn the place next
like
door.
My thing is why they had to close Waltz and that one project that they started, that thing was shut down for like 2 years.
They just started working on that recently
because they just got more money or somebody else took over.
Okay.
The mayor has given the duties of fixing the WHP projects
to Pacini, right?
No, to another nonprofit.
Oh.
Run by Bob Weir, I believe it is.
Oh.
And I don't know if I'm going to do construction, and I was in the construction industry. I'll go to somebody in the construction industry. I'm not going to go to a nonprofit to fix my ceiling. You know what I mean? Come on now. I'm gonna go to a guy that's a ceiling worker.
Yeah.
Whatever. Let's get to the next testimony because we got to get to it. I don't want the people to lose what's going on here. I don't want to lose the feeling.
Timothy Meads. I've been a resident for almost 60 years here. I've been a landlord for almost 30 years. has some long-term tenants, 25, 20 years, 22 years. When I first saw this bill, the first thing I thought of was that the city's done found another way to try to generate income from the landlords, basically. There's a lot of good landlords out there. A lot of people came and spoke before me. I didn't want to go over the same thing they said. But when you have a bill like this here and you start making a lot of changes, it's time to take that bill and just tear it up and start all over again. Because you can't keep making changes to an existing bill and think that bill is okay. Just table it and get rid of it and start all over again. Now, as the chairman was speaking about the intent behind this bill, the only thing I came up with was that just another way to generate income. Because if you want to attack the vacant units, it's very easy to do. You can go to deeds and find out who owns the property and just attack the units. You know when landlords are not being registered because you have complaints from the tenants about that. Get them registered. Then you can get and deal with them bad landlords that's out there. It's not a lot of landlords out there that's bad. Then you have some landlords that don't even register at all. You got to go after them. But there's ways of going after them and trying to accomplish the things he's trying to accomplish without putting a bill like this out there. You got to get rid of this bill for the mere fact you keep making changes. There are going to be some more changes and some more changes. No, you don't need to make changes. Let's go back to the drawing board and attack those issues a different way that you want to take care of, the vacant units. It's a lot of ways you can do that. If you don't know, you can call me up and I can tell you. All right? Thank you.
Dude?
Yes, go right to the next dude.
All right, once he get up there, we're going to go back to him. But what he's saying is right.
He's totally
throw it away, man.
Yeah, throw it out.
Why you keep trying to repolish this turd, man? It's a turd. A turd is a turd. You can't unpolish it.
That's right. That's right.
Yo, what they?
There's nothing you can do with it.
Hey, man, did you?
Hey, we took the corn out of it.
Did you put some clapping on there after, like when you said it was a turd? Did you just?
No, that just happened.
Oh, that was wonderful, man.
That was part of the
video. That was all right there.
That was what here going to do.
Like that.
People put their hand on it, but I just want to thank you guys for another opportunity to come and just say something for a few minutes, and then we have the 3-minute window. And I just want to say thank you very much. And I want to applaud the guys and the ladies that spoke about this as we opened up. They didn't see that it would be time now. There were some things that they felt uncomfortable with. And they did take the covers off so that we can understand that this came out of one department to come to another department. I remember I was here at the last meeting, and now this is a whole different committee, I understand, from what I've heard, which raised a red flag to me then, that once again, we're coming into a criminal environment. So, greetings to everyone. Thank you for allowing me to speak. This issue today is an ordinance that I do not care for. But they have, from what I understand, they have made some changes for this thing. But I want to just say for the landlords, God bless you. God bless you for real. Those of you that are trying to be great and honest landlords, that's good. But some of these landlords that, when I look at the blighted areas that we have, and those particular landlords that they say that they cannot find, I find it very difficult to believe that they cannot be found. I find it very difficult that they cannot be found so they can fix their properties up and help the entire community. Because if I had baby mama drama and I was in South Carolina somewhere, y'all could find me to make me pay this child support. So with that being said, for some of the things that they had with the $250, that is a bit much, and it's not fair, and it will go down because things do trickle down. It will go down, and it will be a hardship for many people. I know that. So with that being said, when I saw what it was being fined for, I thought it was a little ridiculous for infestation and housekeeping and things of that nature. But it's going to affect some people who can't afford that. So if it does trickle down to the rentee, it's going to be a situation for them because 27% of the people in this city are underpoverished. They're in poverty. That's 27% out of a 58% black population here. And that's important to understand. And so now what I want to do, I want to apologize for what I'm getting ready to say next. Because the elephant in the room for me is always about racism here. There's a socioeconomic issue here, I understand that, but there's also a racial element here that we don't address. You understand? So when I ride through the city, and I see, because you talk about blight, but I think the word that we should bring from under the bed would be gentrification, because that's what we actually have. This is something that we're not talking about, but I think we need to start waking up. I'm so glad to see the diversity in this room. I really am, and the people coming to stand out and speak up. Because thank you very much, sir. But I just want to say, with all due respect, the guy that was giving you support, you really didn't give him any time. So I just want to say that real quick, that this will affect people in shelters. This will affect the mentally ill. This will affect people that really can't afford, the people that are in Section 8. It's going to have a great effect. And so we want to I want you to look at the total picture when you start to take these bills. Look at the entire picture of who it does affect. And understand that you have, it almost makes me feel like we're going back to the Plessy-Ferguson thing. You know what I'm saying? Plessy versus Ferguson. I think that those of you may know that. You probably do. You know what I'm saying? Where segregation is supposed to not be separate but equal, but it's not. So when you go through the city and you see the blighted buildings, my question is always, how can we come up with a situation, a system, that we can attack the blighted buildings? The buildings that are on the east side, where there are just numerous buildings, and mostly black people live there. When you come to the west side, and mostly Hispanics are in a certain area, these are blighted buildings. If they got fixed, and the city took some of the money that they, and I hate to say this, but I don't really do, I just think in some form or way, somebody's getting their pockets fat. Because I can't see how this is and fight so hard for something that actually does nothing for anybody.
Sir,
but
please wrap up.
Few people. Yes, sir, you're absolutely right. And I apologize for taking so long. But I just want to say this. Let us look at the total picture. Let's look at the total picture that we do not want to stand for the segregation of the socio-economic segregation. Let's start with that first, because it's really about the money. And then for the segregation of us as races, because we don't all live in District 8. So, with that being said, let us think again. If we have this situation again, please come back. Not hostile, but come back better educated, come back calm, come back with true facts. Don't come back with emotion, come back with true facts, and be able to address this in the spirit of the holy and awesome Savior, Jesus Christ.
Thank you, sir.
We're going to let that applause roll out for a second. Let the beat build.
Yeah, well,
That's how you let the beat build.
Yeah, you let the beat build, but we can stick to the politics, man. All that. Anyway, it's good testimony. He was preaching. You know, he said some good things there, but
I loved him. I can't lie. I loved him.
I think today's Wednesday.
You know what I mean? I loved him. The brother told the gist of it.
Yeah, he did though.
And what's happening, and it keeps continue to happen, is these bills and this legislation, like he was saying, they keep passing it. Yeah. You know, and I hate to say it again, but they will pass it Thursday.
It's going to be rough, man.
Watch your council member.
Be there.
Watch your council member Thursday and see how they vote.
Man.
Because believe me, this bill is at us. It's at the working poor, whether you're white, black, green, or blue.
Not color.
This bill is after all of us that stands in the way of what they want to do.
Yeah.
You think they're going to start buying high rises and displacing them, the old people?
Yeah.
What they'll do,
start selling them off?
Are they doing this out in like Hockessin? Or they,
see
what
they'll do, they'll contaminate them. They'll contaminate them and run everybody out. They'll say it's a fire code. It's some type of code, make everybody move. Then when they get them out of the city, they'll tear it down and redevelop it.
Right.
See, that's all.
That's how they do it.
Yeah, they'll make them all move.
I think Cyril touched on that in the last podcast we talked about, like how they just they'll knock it down, put it up, and all the costs and everything that goes into it. By the time they go to sell it, I mean,
those houses on Benner Street, Cyril was saying they'll cost $200,000.
$200,000 at least, 220.
Now they can sell them. They can sell them on Benner Street for $200,000. But you know what they got to do first?
Yeah.
Get rid of everybody. That's right. Thank you. We do have people here. Yeah, they got to get rid of everybody.
Yeah.
If they want an area, they're going to get rid of everybody.
City of Wilmington, again, legislation. contact your city representatives and
Be there Thursday.
if you have any.
Be there
conversation.
Thursday, yes.
Be there Thursday, and
Wow.
just to remember, Williams did pass that hogwash through.
Mm-hmm.
People was against it wholeheartedly. You could see that.
Yeah.
There ain't no need to go into that. We
Definitely.
just want to let you know they voted it through.
Okay.
So now it's going
Out
to
of committee.
Out of
committee.
So okay, for people that need to understand out of committee. So we're saying voted it out of committee. So wait a minute, Bash kind of explains that,
Oh,
but
yeah, Vash explained that, 'cause
you know,
he was
if
on the
that
scene.
again, it's just interesting. It seems this is very, 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 very important. This could change a lot of things for a lot of people, and I myself, I'm like, man, there's only
But Field that did not have control of the housing development
it's
committee.
it's only like a few.
So that put where he had control of it.
Yeah,
So they can do this illegal stuff that they're getting ready to do.
Yeah, only a few representatives are here too.
And they was probably all together too, chilling.
That's right.
Wow.
Like, yo, because there's always a meeting before the meeting. It's like, this what you gonna do when you go in there.
That's right.
Matter of fact, say it. Let's rehearse it.
That's right. That's right. That's right. If you don't do it fast enough, as we've shown in the past, Hanifa will yell at you.
Eat the cake, anime.
Wow.
Eat the cake, anime.
Wow.
That's a shame.
Yeah,
so
it is.
y'all
It's
want to
crazy.
wrap it up and go to
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
because
Yeah.
we gonna play our Living Dream on the Scene clip, our Civic
All right,
Duty on
that's
the
right.
Scene.
So this is civic duties on the scene at the actual meeting, speaking to some people.
But we're gonna get it a Bud first, right? Wait, ends him.
Oh, at the end.
Yeah, let Bud
All right,
let Bud wrap it
y'all
up.
talk. Let me find that.
Let Bud, cause see what happens here at the end.
Okay,
Bud
yeah,
really,
yeah.
he
When they do the
wraps it
vote,
up.
Okay.
the vote is not a real vote. It's not legal or anything. It really isn't. And you can see it, and he shows it in his actions. You,
Yeah.
you hear the chaos in the room, and you need to hear this because it's not supposed to be run like this. Now, as he says, he's been head of this for 17 years. He did that for 6 years. He's been there since 1979. There's no reason for there to be so much chaos in the meeting that man is running. But he was there to run it this way so that he could bully them. And now he's not just bullying the people in that room. They're bullying the city of Wilmington residents.
Yeah, I wasn't even
Yeah,
born
residents,
yet.
homeowners.
Homeowners. It's
Landlords.
us. We're the ones being bullied here.
Yeah.
It was it ended so abruptly.
Yeah.
It was what's that? It was nasty. Oh, please, people remember, eminent domain is still on the books.
Well, see,
Yeah,
they,
yeah.
Lady, lately,
Yeah.
it's like Mrs. Lately said.
eminent domain is also a tool of gentrification. They use it down there with the school when they made people close their businesses up. A friend of mine had a washing appliance business.
Okay.
And Del Tech took it. Del Tech also took Jess's Auto Supply in the domain, and they tried to do some other things. They were fought by the guy over there,
Ed Osborne.
Ed Osborne. That's right. Ed fought him and won.
Yep.
You know what I mean? With the help of who? Who's Ed's friend?
It depends on which one you talking about.
was it
'cause
Bud
he was
Field?
friends with Dennis Williams.
But wasn't him and Bud Field close?
I don't know.
I think him and Bud were close too. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, but he got into politics after he beat him. Him and Dennis. Yeah, but I think him and Bud Field may have been close to Ed Osborne. At the auto place, he beat eminent domain.
Yeah, because they wanted not just that, like South Bridge.
Yeah, but see, the Blight thing was it's up north. It was up near Massachusetts. There was a community of $250,000 homes around the coastline, and this businessman, he wanted that property. So what he did was he said it was blighted, and they based that upon tax revenue, and he went in court. The people had to move. They had to leave. They actually had to leave. They had to move. They were nice homes along the coastline, and they put a shopping mall there.
Right.
But the mall brought more money for the tax revenue, and
Yeah.
they used that for eminent domain.
Yeah, that's a devil. Yeah, well,
That
if
was
you're,
up north,
yeah,
maybe
if you're gonna
10, 20 years ago.
if you're gonna stop the process of what they feel like could be potential money for the
And
city,
we
for the state,
definitely
yeah,
got to
they're
keep an
definitely
eye on East Side.
Oh, they
'Cause
want
you got the Kirkwood Park going. You
They
got
want
and you know
Yeah.
that little where that what was that, the leather factory down on
Allied
Church
Kid.
Street?
Oh, yeah.
Allied Kid.
Yeah.
That's prime real estate.
See, with
there.
all those, if Allied Kid was there, it's contaminated soil.
Yeah,
Everywhere
but they
they
got
went,
brownfield. They'll
that-
send
that's right.
brownfields in there and give them the
That's
thumbs
it.
up.
Just like the brownfields over there at Diamond Salvage. where Howard could have a stadium.
Right.
That's a brown field. It's
Yep.
cleaned up.
They-
But the developers probably have some secret stuff to do with it.
That's the perfect spot for the Howard
Yes, a
Field,
stadium.
and it's right by the water.
Yeah.
It's a stadium. All those other communities, it would be a wonderful gift to the whole city of Wilmington. It would uplift. See, nothing wrong with revitalization,
No, nothing at all.
but gentrification, yeah. When you push people out and bring other people in,
Yeah.
and make sure that they can't come back.
Especially if you,
That's wrong.
especially if you champion a surplus and it just, hey man,
low income, you
and
need to
people,
get
yeah,
involved,
people low income, and you again, I'm gonna go back to no resources. I mean, what are you? You said you had the Bud Frill,
Bud
Frill,
Frill.
and the
This thing-
anarchy on the
and
floor or
thing,
something.
Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
pay attention to the anarchy,
Yeah.
and people was just done dirty.
Yeah.
It was like all those people talk, and it was just like tolerated. Like, y'all hurry up and cry y'all river, because we got to get this thing
Well, even
on the floor. I
even-
don't really care what y'all talking
and
about.
even in this, you have to listen. Michelle Harley, who's not allowed to vote, tries to vote yes with Bud Field. That's one of Hanifa's girls. She tries to vote yes on this issue, and she's not allowed to.
She said she had people on both sides, and my man was from Midtown. Like, no,
Yeah,
this is ridiculous.
yeah,
I'm from Midtown.
yeah.
We all from
Actually,
Midtown.
we're all from
from
Midtown.
That's right.
That's the problem, because we from Midtown,
Midtown.
so
Yeah.
we
are
interact with
Midtown.
every side of town.
Yes, we do.
So we know it ain't right.
Yeah.
Man, let's play
that's
this
right.
clip,
Yeah,
man.
play the
See,
clip.
see Emperor Palpatine.
Oh man, this guy.
Man, and we got strong bit rate. we got strong bit rate. Hold on, let me cue Emperor Palpatine back, because it started playing. Yo, yeah, that's as soon as I said that.
Yeah.
They said, "Oh,
It's time.
all right, here you go." The lady, she barely finished talking.
Okay, I believe that is all the speakers that signed up. At this time, as I said, I'll follow the process. Is there anyone who wants to make a motion to move this out of committee?
So moved.
I made the motion to move it out of committee. It's been second. Second.
By whom?
On the question?
Who seconded?
I made the motion. I made the motion. I'm making the motion. Mr. Williams is seconding it. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I'm making a motion to move this out of committee. Mr. Williams just seconded it.
You asked for a motion.
I just made a motion to move this out of committee. Mr. Williams just seconded it.
Councilman Friel, point of order. Councilman Friel, I had my hand up.
I know, but I made the statement earlier at the meeting that we were going to go from community comments to a motion to vote it out of committee.
Councilman Friel, you asked for a motion by Williams.
I reworded.
You didn't reword it by saying
I
it out
made
loud.
a motion to move this out
You're
of committee.
bullying you're bullying your committee. That's
I'm
not
not
what you
bullying my
said.
committee.
You are.
There's only three.
Everybody here heard you didn't make a motion. You asked for a motion.
All right. I'm making a motion.
Well, make the motion then.
I'm making a motion to move this out of committee. Is there a second?
Second.
And there is a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
No.
So-
No, I'm not trying to. No, I didn't say anything.
So this has been, can I finish? This has been,
Committee. Point of order. Point of order.
the vote was 2-1. The vote was 2-1.
But who's on your committee that can vote? Because I don't see
The ones that are here?
Harley on the committee.
Ms. Harley cannot
No,
vote.
I didn't say yes.
She cannot vote. The only ones that can
I know
vote
I
is
can't
myself,
vote.
Mr. Williams, Mr. Adams. It was a 2-1 vote. This will come out of committee and go to the full council so you all can vote on it at a future date.
So 2-1. It goes
2-1, yes. All right.
Point of order. Point of order. Point of order. You can't make the motion.
Yes, I can make a motion. I'm a member of the
You
committee.
can't make the motion. You asked Bob to make the motion. It's 2-1. That's not majority. It got to be 1-3. It has to be 3 votes. This is a committee of 7.
Mr. Turner, the quorum is considered 3 members of the committee.
All right, can I make a
vote
statement? Can I
2-1.
make a comment? I mean, you voted it out, but can I say something? Can I say
Well,
something?
we're done with the agenda.
So is this voted out?
Yes.
2-1?
Yes.
It's a seven-man committee.
You will all get the vote on it. That's what you should want.
So Council
That's what
President
you
is not
should
here.
want.
Xanthi Oliver's not here.
Nothing I
Linda
can do
Gray's
about
not
it.
here.
There's nothing I can do about that. All right. I thank you all for coming out this evening. I thank you all for coming out.
It's a seven-member committee. This is not even a quorum. You need 4 people to have a quorum. This is not even a quorum. This is not even a quorum.
As the city solicitor, you heard somebody?
This is an
Mr. Bob
outrage.
Groff wasn't there, and a parliamentarian that was sitting next to him.
African-Americans that sit-
Chick, she
We're
didn't
gonna
say a
let this
word.
rock.
There she is.
Yo.
Yes.
Yo.
Wow.
Yes. Did you
Wow.
hear?
So basically, 4 people out of the 7 was supposed to vote.
Yes.
Yeah.
Both the 10.
So my
And only
man,
3 attended.
MC Seat Filler, and seat filler are the people that they get at award shows to fill in the
I
empty
hear you.
seats. It's
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
seat fillers.
Yeah,
All right.
that's true. Yeah, I understand.
So he like pointed to him like, "You second?"
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was asleep over here, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, and not just that. You heard Michelle Harley vote,
Yeah,
and she's not allowed to
not
vote.
allowed to vote, and she voted.
She said, "Yeah, look, she's a habitual liar."
Yo, that was
she
crazy.
She said, "I didn't vote." No, she didn't say yes.
tried
She
to.
said, "Yay."
Again,
That's like what was the old Bugs Bunny? And me boss.
Yeah, me boss.
And
There
me
you
boss.
go. Oh man,
Like you're not even part of this.
Oh,
Calm
not
down.
even. She's so used to saying
You let
yay.
me go up
So all
there.
she says is yay.
wow, wow. Listen, this is civic duty, y'all. And again, we
Thursday night.
didn't make this
Thursday
up,
night.
man. This is you
Come
can go see this
how
for
your
yourself.
Representative votes against your
Wow.
best wishes.
They try
You,
to shut
the
us down.
taxpayer.
Wow.
You, the voter. And they're helping someone that doesn't care. Wow. They're helping a gentrifying mayor and his cronies.
Wow.
Those prospect developers, as I've always called them.
Wow, we
They're
got
selling
some.
our city.
We got some
We got
ending testimony.
yeah.
some of
Ending
the stuff
testimony.
that.
But
Well,
the lady that spoke that I interviewed, she said
Yes.
she went to the administration and told them that it's going to affect her tenants adversely. And the administration, she said she was in the mayor's office, and he said, "Well, if they can't pay rent, they not good tenants."
That's right.
Is
Wow.
that the criteria?
That's the
Wow,
criteria.
that's the criteria.
If you got raised your rent 3,000%,
Yeah.
and they can't afford it, they just not good tenants.
No,
Wow.
you need people that can afford it.
Wow.
Like they work in your city.
That's right.
It's crazy. Let's go to Living Dreams Civic Duty on the scene.
All right, civic duty on the
Yeah.
scene. This is after the meeting.
Yeah, this is very wild. This blight legislation, I don't know what happened. There was only 3 committee members here. I'm a public works chair, and we got 7 committee members. And I was always told that we couldn't open a meeting unless we had 4 members of the committee there to create a quorum. Here you see we had 3 out of 7, and then they voted 2-1 to pass it on. I don't know how that occurred. You know, obviously whenever something that Councilman Friel wants or Council President Hanifa Shabazz wants, then they go ahead and cheat any way that they need to get it out of committee. And I'm not going to bite my tongue on that. Everybody witnessed that. It was about 50 people that spoke. It was only 2 people that supported this whole bill. 48 people spoke against it. I don't know how you, as a voted elected official, can vote that out when the constituents came out and said they weren't supporting this and asked us to scrap it and start over, or to go ahead and just table this and have more discussion on this. This is not fair. Also, this legislation did not pass twice before out of community development, and then Bud Friel decided on putting it into finance and economic development. The council president has the discretion to say no, but the council president allowed Councilman Bud Friel to put it in finance committee, which it was always in community development, urban planning the other 2 times. So obviously you see what the trick was. They get it to full council, then now we need to vote it down. But we have 3 African Americans that sit on this finance committee that did not show up for a meeting of this magnitude to our community. That was Councilwoman Oliver, Councilwoman Gray, and Council President Hanifa Shabazz. That is a shame that 3 of them represent our city for something that was a topic of this discussion, and they did not show up. If as the chair, as the president of city council, you should not allow this meeting to be scheduled if you weren't going to be able to attend. This is too important. Oh, I guess you must be down the field house taking pictures again. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Renee Sproul. I was here at the Finance and Economic Development Committee in regards to the housing ordinance that has been proposed and is looking to go to City Council very soon. I want to say that I disagree strongly with how it's written. I do agree with the goal and the spirit of the bill, but I don't think it's done correctly in order to achieve those goals. I think it's going to hurt tenants in the future as these fees and fines get passed down to them through the landlords. We've had a lot of increases with water bills. There's discussion about increasing taxes, and now just even more fines and bills and just things that they want to increase. That's just going to hurt, honestly, the poor. I also disagree with it from the standpoint of the only people that it's going to affect are the good landlords who actually register their properties. The goal is to go after the bad landlords. The bad landlords aren't going to sign up for this. They're not going to identify themselves. The way they're going about it, it's just, it doesn't work. So I hope that when this does finally go to full city council, that people will realize the shortcomings of this ordinance and go back and rework it so that it actually does what we want it to do. Thank you.
Everybody, Councilman Trippy Congo just finished up a meeting down here at City Council, Finance Committee meeting, just talking about some legislation around blight and supposedly trying to improve the look of Wilmington. But a lot of people came up and they said they understand the intent of the legislation, but that we were going about it in the wrong way. I think they were being nice, because I think the intent of the legislation is to get rid of poor people in Wilmington, whether it's black, white, or Hispanic, or other. The intent of this legislation is to get rid of poor people and to replace them with another ethnic group. And unfortunately, it made it out of committee. But we'll see next Thursday if the full council is going to support it or not. Hopefully not. It was very disappointing that the president of City Council was not here, and that several members of City Council were not here who were actually a part of this committee, who knew the impact that it could have on our residents, and especially those who need it most, the poor residents of the city of Wilmington. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they vote on next Thursday when it comes before full council. I encourage you to come out and speak, and come out and be heard, and let your council person know how you feel about this very important legislation, which is really a game changer here in the city of Wilmington. Thank you.
The more that we penalize the poor and create structural barriers that people can't actually flourish and save money and actually repair their homes by themselves, the more things that are going to happen in our community that are definitely going to be a thumbs down. The people that attended the city council meeting tonight are people that are trying to decrease the dislikes and increase all the things that really make our community like the best it can be, right? And they provided data, facts, all these percentages, and it's really smart people in here, right? So the fact that all these smart people came out, people actually designated their time to actually come out to attend this, to speak on all the blight in our community, and still was ignored and just thrown away, and nobody wanted to talk about all the good, the good shit. I'm gonna say that. It really disheartens me, but it also encourages me to never give up. At this point in my life, I am so dedicated to our community and spreading the truth on how people can get involved. Not everybody's going to attend the meetings, but guess what? We do have people that can analyze data, that can give back in different ways. So this actually just invigorated me, and I'm ready. I got time. Because all the bad guys aren't sleeping. They are 24/7 finding different ways. How can I school all the black people out? How can I target different zip codes and shit? Listen, they don't sleep. So we need to do everything in our power to stay together. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to be around people that actually care. So thank you.
So my name is Christian Willauer, and I'm a resident of the city of Wilmington. I love the city. I love my neighbors. And I think there's a lot of great things going on. And there's a lot of people working to make good things happen. I think also as revitalization gets underway, we have to make sure that everybody benefits from the revitalization. And part of that is making sure that as many people who are here can own their properties, can stay in their properties, can be part of the solution for Wilmington's future. So I work with this loosely organized group of residents who care about Wilmington's neighborhoods and want to build policy, advocate for policy that is going to help strengthen Wilmington's neighborhoods. It's the Wilmington Neighborhoods Coalition, and you can find it online, neighborhoodsde.org. And we publicize information about not only policies that are being considered by City Council, but also policies that should be considered by City Council. And if we're going to get these policies to happen, we have to be communicating with our elected officials. So I just urge people to look on that website, write to info@neighborhoodsde.org with your ideas. And let's not just react and say we don't want fines on poor people that could potentially cause them to lose their homes. Let's have programs that build up neighborhoods. Let's have programs that it's a homeowner repair program. You heard a lot of people tonight talking about the need for a homeowner repair program. A lot of cities, they prioritize that. They figure out, where can we find the money for a homeowner repair program? Those are our church leaders. Those are the people who are the block captains. It's, oftentimes they're seniors. They've been around for a while, and they may not have the money to fix their homes, but they're the people we want to, build up. They're the core of the community. Same thing, landlords. There are some landlords that definitely need to be held accountable. I think we know who they are, and I think the city should prioritize enforcement action on them. Let's take action now. We don't have to wait we have an existing housing code. We have existing fines. We don't have to wait on any new legislation to hold the landlords accountable. And I think a lot of the things you heard tonight, there are solutions out there to the problems that are facing Wilmington's neighborhoods. And I just encourage everybody, there was a huge crowd tonight. A lot of people love their neighborhoods. A lot of people want to stay in their neighborhoods. A lot of people want their neighborhoods to be better. They don't want to deal with, the things that are undermining their quality of life. I think what you saw tonight was a tremendous opportunity for partnership. There was huge, number of good ideas there. If we could get together, and bring together the landlords with their ideas, bring together the renters with their ideas, the homeowners, and, have policy that builds up the neighborhoods with everybody's input. That's what the Wilmington Neighborhoods Coalition, we're trying to form, that give people the chance to have that voice. But it doesn't have to be the Wilmington Neighborhoods Coalition. It could just be going to your civic association meeting, getting to know your civic council, civic association president, volunteering to be have some role in your civic association, bring cookies to your civic association meeting, but at and get to know your city council member and find out, watch how they vote. And all of these things, policy doesn't just happen out there. Policy gets made by real people, and we can be part of the conversation.
Wow. I think we can wrap it up with that, man. That was nice right there. That was what you think, Unc? That was pretty.
I think it was very informative.
Very informative, right?
And the good part, it really shows that it's about all of us. It's not about one race or one color.
Yeah.
But we missed one guy, and I want to make this statement. He stated that the banks pay $273 a year taxes. And look at the tax that they're going to put on these landlords.
Yeah.
Something's wrong in this picture.
They pay one payment where the tenants where the landlords and homeowners have to pay every year.
Every year. And
every unit.
For every unit. And the banks only pay, if PNC doesn't pay for its branch, it's just one PNC.
Yeah.
A TD pays for just one TD, and it's just $200 and some a year taxes. These are banks.
Yeah.
Big money. These are people trying to help the communities. They're trying to run them out of business so the prospectors can take over.
Now, are these businesses that, that special the 13th, where they talk about the 13th Amendment, turn more corporations into people than helped out the people what's supposed to happen? Is this one of those situations?
This is worse than that. See, what they did with that, nothing's worse than that, really, when they made a corporation a person.
Yeah. Corporation
You know
person.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was rough.
But that's how they get around all this stuff. The real rich guys get around with the corporations being people. Now, what's happened, guys like this, they all have their own corporations, so they can save whatever money they can if you have your own little business. I had apartment buildings when I was younger. It's a lot of maintenance, a lot of work, and I consider myself a good landlord. It's a lot of work. And all you really have is your equity in your property. Yeah. There's not a lot of cash. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These people are not cash rich, most of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're a good landlord, you're putting money into your building.
Yeah.
The Spanish lady was saying she couldn't sell any of her buildings.
Reinvest.
Well, a friend of mine has a lot of properties on the east side. I want to mention this. A few years back, I can't think of the name of the organization, over there, Sacred Heart, said that they was going to build 7 townhouses on this property. You understand? This is on the east side of Wilmington.
Right.
Sacred Heart said they were going to build 7 townhouses on this property. But instead, they put one of those high rises up there. All right?
On
Kirkwood Street, 10th and Kirkwood.
Yeah. What was that place called that was there?
The Elks Home.
The Elks.
They put a high rise up there, and since that high rise has been up there, I'm just now thinking about this. I bet you the crime in that neighborhood has increased. All right.
You mean the American Legion?
The American Legion, what the American Legion was.
Okay.
Yeah. I bet you the crime in that neighborhood has increased. I'm not making this up. I really do believe that, because since then the shootings I know have increased, because my friend lives right there.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But they took a neighborhood that was on its way up and put one of those buildings in there.
Okay.
That would bring the neighborhood down on purpose.
Tarian 29, and he remembered the American Legion, and we couldn't. Well, remember
something's wrong with this.
Yeah, something wrong with us, man. He 29 and he remembered the American Legion.
All the dancing I did in that place.
Yeah, he lived up the street from it. But the thing is, well, remember,
I danced
over at Bill's Meat Market.
Oh yeah,
Xanthia wanted to put in the legislation to get that property closed. Said that was a nuisance property. It's not the store. It's they don't have nothing to do. So of course you're gonna get people getting shot.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right there. They don't have nothing to do.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah.
People settlements sitting right there, and we ain't even gonna get on like that.
Yeah.
Combining Stubbs and Bancroft
And all
and
that. Well, we do
Stubbs
need all these smart people. We need
Yeah.
a real program. One of these
Yeah.
smart people, and somewhere in this nation. I'm not going to Wilmington or Delaware, Philadelphia, New York, Chicago. Somewhere, someone has written a good program to help these young men.
You know what else
And we need to hear in Wilmington.
You know what else we need? We need people to watch Civic Duty.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Come out Thursday.
Because Thursday, all the watchers, listeners, taxpayers,
all the watchmen,
landlords,
ring that alarm, man.
Yeah,
let people know.
Let people know.
This is real.
And again, this is we are doing nothing that you cannot do yourselves. Go out, talk to your representatives, watch the meetings. Again, like the lady stated at her testimony at the end here, it's very important something she said. Let's watch how people vote so we can see who has interest and who doesn't.
And Queen Mother Mercedes Fields she said, y'all up for re-election.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's all she really had to say. Y'all up for re-election.
Yeah.
And we outnumber you.
Yeah.
And she walked off.
Yeah.
That's right.
Whole place erupted.
Yeah.
That was one of the ladies that testified. I'm under 48.
Queen Mother.
That's right.
That's good.
She got something said.
That's good. So
All right,
we
fellas,
also
so
need
fellas,
candidates. We need good candidates.
We need good candidates. Because it don't take many votes. It don't take many votes to win, and we playing against a rigged system.
System. You just saw how rigged it is.
Yeah.
We just saw firsthand.
Bad Civic
we
Duty,
saw it.
man.
We saw it rigged against people of the community, home property owners.
Home property owners.
Well, we'll be there Thursday, and we'll see how they vote.
Yeah.
Yeah. So wrap it up. Wrap us up. H-Rap.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
Man, I'm kind of speechless. I don't think I really have to say anything.
Hey, say something else, then, man.
Civic Duty, baby. Come out Thursday. Check
That's
out,
good.
check it out, baby. Civic Duty.
Yeah.
Yeah.